We are back. Backing up. LJM Facebook page. The videos only. I'm going to share the screen. You know the drill by now, people. Come on now. Come on. So we're going to the LJM page. We're going to videos. And we're in January 2019 now. Little by little, we're getting it done. We're knocking it out. Okay. Let's see here. Is it this one? January
Coming
4th.
at you live from
Yeah.
Orange County, the Lucas Mather.
Okay, so is this one?
Well, we're live from.
Why is it so quiet? Okay. January 17th, 2019. How I got hired at Pepperdine. Two things. Okay. Let's see who liked it. All right. How many comments? 6 comments. Troy, man, he died. He ended up dying. David Gray. Okay. We got it.
The Lucas Mather Studios in Orange County. Good to see you. Well, we're live from the Lucas Mather Studios in Orange County. Good to see you. I got adjunct story, the next one in line. It's been a while since I've done one of these. This is a story of how I got hired at Pepperdine. You ready for this? Let me couch it with telling you a little bit of spiritual thought behind this, and that is that if the Lord calls you to do something, it might not be easy. Okay? Very biblical thought, right? If the Lord calls you to do something, it might not be easy. So here's how I got hired at Pepperdine. This is what happened. It was the spring of 2007, and I was teaching at Moorpark College, and I had 3 classes, which is a full load for any community college district in California. And here was my class schedule. Are you ready? It was Monday, Wednesday morning, 7:30 a.m., and I had 5 people in the class. It's the smallest community college class I ever had. It was Introduction to Logic. And any given day, 3 people showed up, sometimes 2. And it was never the same 3. It was never the same 2. Tuesday nights, I had an Introduction to Philosophy course from 7 to 10, roughly 6:50, I think, to 10, I think. It was 9:50, 7 to 9:50. I forget. It was one of those things. It's basically 7 to 10 p.m. Moorpark College was an hour and a half drive from where I was living. So it was in a totally different county. It was in Ventura County. I was living in Los Angeles County at the time, South Los Angeles County in the ghetto. And then Thursday nights I had a symbolic logic class at Moorpark College, 7 to 10 p.m. So here's how it was. Monday, Wednesday, I was teaching 4 days on that campus. Monday, Wednesday morning, 7:30 a.m. and then 7 to 10 p.m. Tuesday night, which means the next morning. So I would have to drive at 10 all the way back, an hour and a half, and then all the way up. So it was like a 4 a.m. wake up to get there at 7:30 and on Wednesdays. So what I ended up doing was, you ready for this? I don't recommend this, okay? None of this is recommendation. This is pure narrative. It's historical narrative, okay? It's not normative. I bought a cot and I had a bedroll, and the lady that hired me, named Janice Dario, she was on a committee that hired me. There was actually 3 people on that committee. Ranford Hopkins
Hold
and
on.
the dean, I forget what her name was.
Sorry, this is the lady that hired me at Moore Park College was Janice Dario, Ranford Hopkins, and then Fabienne McPhail Naples was the dean. I'm forgetting. I'm not talking about the people at Pepperdine. It was Mary Mullins, the chair of the humanities department, humanities and teacher education, HUTE, that hired me at Pepperdine. Just wanted to clarify that.
But anyway, they had offices that opened to the outside. So the hallways were outside in the building. And so each person had an independent office, and I had a key to the office. She gave me a key for my office hours. And I was the last person on campus. It was, just me and a few other maybe instructors. And so I spent the night in Janice Dorio's office. And it was cold because it was the winter time. It was actually 12 years ago right now that this was happening, 12 years ago. So are you with me here? I'm building up to the story of how I got hired at Pepperdine. Moore Park and Pepperdine are kind of, in my mind, I put them in the same area because I'm from LA County, lower end of LA County. If this is a map, and here's lower LA County, this is me, this is Moore Park, this is Malibu on the coast, and this is about 60, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 miles, something like that. Through the most populous county in one of the most populous counties in the United States. So outside of New York, I think. 10 million people in LA. I don't know. Is it? I think it's 4 million people in the city, and then I think in this county it's 10 million, something like that. So anyway, it's Tuesday night. And by the way, I'm still in contact with students in that Tuesday night class from Moore Park College. Hey, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. Well, anyway, okay, so I would teach my class, and then I would go sneak over to Janice Dario's office, set up my stuff. I would be very sneaky about it, and be as quiet as possible. There was nobody around. I mean, actually, the police officers did do rounds. Now that I think about it, they did check doors, because one time I was in there with this is a different adjunct story, but one time I'll just mention it real quick. One time I was in there with one of the stars from the movie Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know if you know that movie, but the girl that played Deb, she was in my logic class. She had come to my logic class, and she'd come to my office hours. And so we were in there, and the police officer came by, and me and this other girl as well, and Deb from Napoleon Dynamite, and and the police officer like, "You don't look like Janice Dario," and I was like, "Well, but this is my office hours," and he gave me some hell about it. Like minorities are always saying, "You don't know what it's like to be a minority because the cops never look at you." Well, no, they have looked at me like, "You dress like this apparently," and I don't know how I dressed like this, and that's how I used to dress. So I've been carded many times on campus, like using the copy machine. "Can I see your ID?" And then it's like, "Yeah, I'm faculty." I don't know. I know I don't look like I'm faculty, but anyway. So sorry for taking my time here, but Yeah, the police officers would come by and check the doors, but I'd have the lights out, and I did. It was quiet that first night. It was cold, cold, cold. Holy crap, it was cold. She had a little space heater in there though, so that was good. But at 4 a.m., I heard keys rattling, and I heard doors opening and different noises, and I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, what's going on? It was the janitor. So he was going along the line of the faculty offices, finally came to Janice's office, and there I am on the cot. And do you know what the guy said to me? He looks over at me. I sit up. I'm totally freaked out. He looks over at me, totally unfazed. And he says, "Good morning." Then he takes the trash and dumps it. And then that was the end of that. And I went to 24-hour fitness and took a shower to get ready for my 7:30 class, which only 3 people out of 5 show up, and it's never the same 3 people. So anyway, this is the kind of semester I'm having to put food on the table. And I really felt like I was a missionary. Like this is as unto the Lord. I'm teaching logic, right? Not from the pagan worldview. I'm teaching it as if it's from the Lord, because it is. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and it's the word logos in Greek. In the beginning was the word logos. That's where we get logic from. And the word was God. So I'm teaching it as if this stuff is legit. It predates the universe logic. This is I'm teaching it. I'm serious about this stuff. So anyway, I was dealing with that, and so eventually I got up before the guy would get there, and I would get up there. I would get up at 3. Okay, so and go to 24-hour fitness and shower so that I would avoid, So I was playing this game here. Pepperdine contacts me. They have my resume from a while back. They said, we want you to come in for an interview. And they asked me to come in for an interview on a Wednesday morning after my class, which was convenient for me because Moore Park, you just go down the 23, hit the 101, go south about 10 minutes or so, and then you hit Las Virgenes Road, or you could take Lost Hills, or you could take Canaan over the hump to get to the ocean and PCH, and you're there at Pepperdine. So I remember exactly what day it was because it was Ash Wednesday. And the reason I know it was Ash Wednesday is because the chair is Catholic at Pepperdine at the time, Mary, and she had a ash cross on her forehead. And that's how she did the interview. So I'm like there, and she's interviewing me. She says, "Hey, we want you to start," or she said, "We want you to come in for an interview." And man, I tell you, I had spent the night in a freaking faculty office that night, avoiding cops, avoiding on the night end, avoiding janitors on the morning end. I'd taken a shower in 24-hour fitness. I'd taught a class that has 5 people enrolled and only 2 showed up, or 3 maybe. And I think only 1 or 2 of those students was really, you're really only there for a minority of the students, because the students in general in California just don't care. So, but I was teaching as unto the Lord. And what else? What else was going on at that time? I was doing a 3rd master's degree at Loyola Marymount University, working on my 3rd master's at night. So I was balancing coursework along with this and a full teaching load. I was teaching at Loyola Marymount at the time, 2 classes every semester. So I was teaching philosophy of human nature that semester there, Tuesday, Thursday mornings. And so I was balancing this really big course load. And Pepperdine invited me to come to the campus and talk. And I immediately discerned that they wanted a grade inflator. I immediately intuited that. I mean, we talked about teaching technique and blah, 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 blah. But really, I immediately could tell that what was really important to them was avoiding student complaints. And that's rarely something that's said. That's just something that they try to pick up as they throw stuff out there. And I was so eager to teach there that I bit that line, that fish hook, line, and sinker. And I don't regret it, but that is in fact how it went down. And they hired me. They hired me almost on the spot. And then what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. They said, in fact, we don't want you to start in the summer. This is for a summer course. We want you to start right now. Can you start right now? And I was like, what, you mean like today? And they were like, tomorrow. Can you come back tomorrow? And what it was is there was another professor that they had, well, I don't want to get into that story, but I was basically replacing another professor, like right now, right then. And they offered me all of his courses at the time, and I only accepted one. I think he was teaching 3 at the time, 2 or 3. I think it was 3. And I accepted one. I said, no, I can do one. I'm in graduate school. I can do one. And it was an ethics course. And so I showed up to work like the next day. Seriously, I had gone in there for a summer course. And this is in February, I think it was. They said, hey, we'll reimburse you for the whole semester if you can start tomorrow. And so I showed up for this ethics course. It just happened to work with my schedule. I think it was once a week. No, it was I think it was twice a week, actually. So I think it was Monday, Thursdays, it was in the afternoon. Oh man, that was juggling a lot right there. And I still keep in contact with students from Pepperdine from that first class, and it was an ethics class. So, hey, and mixed bag of students, but they were all totally entitled. I mean, I was walking into a situation as a professor that nobody would want to walk into. Starting for, filling in for another professor. It's like you're the substitute teacher, but it's college. And so I'll tell that story later. That's a different story. But that's how I got hired at Pepperdine. Was I showed up to an interview where I had slept in a faculty office, avoiding cops and avoiding, the trash guy. And Moorpark at the time didn't lock their bathroom doors that are open to the outside at night. They do now. Don't ask me how I know that. And so I was able to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night if I needed to. And I drink a lot of coffee, I gotta, make it sanitary. But also Moorpark College has a zoo. So they have lions on campus. They have, monkeys, and I think they had 1 lion on campus at the time, maybe 2. And so they have these big cats, and they have monkeys, and they have, it's a zoo. It's a working zoo on campus, and they have a training program for people who want to work in zoos. And so at night, those animals are making noises, and you can hear the lions going, and you can hear the monkeys going, however the monkeys do it, the screech monkeys and the howler monkeys. So I'm totally disoriented. I'm exhausted. I'm going to the bathroom at night. I got an interview the next day, and I'm trying to go to the bathroom. I'm like in my bare feet, through this campus, and I hear this freaking African lions and monkeys going, and these weird birds, and just I was like, where the hell am I? I was so disoriented. And I'm like reliving it, just thinking about this. But let me just tell you, man, the adjunct life, I have had some crazy experiences, but I felt like the Lord had called me to it. Like I say, I'm still in contact with many of these people, and I think it's a rich mission field. And the Lord, if He calls you to something, it might not be easy. It might not be easy. I'll tell you a little bit more about Pepperdine and Great Inflation, other places as well. It's not just Pepperdine, but I mention it. But that's how I got hired at Pepperdine. Is I was totally not prepared for that interview. Total, I mean, and I showed up probably exhausted, but I faked it throughout, and I intuited that they just wanted someone who was gonna, teach the class and not ruffle any feathers, and just and so I got the job and I got my foot in the door, and eventually I didn't inflate grades anymore, and that was a decade later. A little bit less than a decade later, I started pushing back pretty heavily. So I'm just basically trying to piece together my adjunct life for you and give you a sense of what it's really like. Because full-time professors don't have a freaking clue. They don't have a freaking clue. And depending on who you're talking to, maybe adjuncts, they might not be fully honest about what really happens on campus. Hey, this is a picture of my grandpa. Let's give it up. You see that right there? That's a painting. And I don't know if you happen to notice that painting is the same painting right there. So that's my grandfather with the painting that back there and behind him. Like grandfather, like grandson. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, now, what kind of comments do we have? Hello, David and Troy and Marla. Thank you, Marla. I appreciate that. Yeah. 183 courses I've taught now in Los Angeles area, Orange County, Ventura County, LA County. I call it all Los Angeles. Well, anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry it took so long to tell that story. There's really like probably 3 stories in there, but anyway, I wanted to get back into the swing of it. Hope you guys are well. Take care.
All right, that was Thursday, January 17th, 2019 at 2:46 p.m.